Hello, everyone. Welcome to Geekonomics. We're back. It is a Tuesday edition. We took yesterday off to recharge the old batteries, if you will. It's also a holiday for both of us from work. So we decided if we're not working, we're not going to work at all. And also we wanted to wait because last night, which I didn't know was happening during the football game last night, they unveiled the Moon Knight trailer.
And I will be watching it for the first time.
My goodness.
Yeah.
I watched it last night because Claire went to bed and I was putting Claire to bed.
You're putting Claire to bed?
Well, she goes to bed before I do. So
but the way you said that makes it sound like you put a child to bed. I was putting Claire to bed. Like, you tuck her in, you read her a story.
Yeah, kind of. I turn her Mysteries of the Abandoned on for her and
put Forensic Files on.
Fill up the humidifier for her. You know, make sure she's all ready to go to bed. And then I go downstairs and watch television for the next 2 hours. All the shows that I want to watch that she doesn't want to watch. So while I was doing that, she wanted to watch it in the football game last night. And it was halftime. And they're like, oh, don't forget, after this commercial break, we're going to unveil the new Moon Knight trailer. And I was like, what? I know this is happening during the football game.
Wow.
So come to find out, this morning, reading some news before the show today, the ratings for this playoff game, I guess, were astronomical comparative to what the other playoff games were this weekend. Mm-hmm. And they're attributing to the release of the Moon Knight trailer because the ratings went out as soon as the trailer was over. The second half got no ratings whatsoever. But not as much as the first half did. So they're saying that it was all like a Moon Knight effect.
People are excited for it.
I am now way more excited now than I was beforehand after seeing the real trailer for it.
Moon Knight is a very underrated character.
Moon Knight is the in my opinion, which you were right in saying that, it is the ultimate underrated Marvel character. I think people who don't know Moon Knight, I will say, because it's not happening till March 30th now.
Yes.
When they announced the debut of this. It's a IP that's going to explode. Now is the time to invest in Moon Knight.
Stocks are low. Get in now. Ground floor.
I'll say it now. Now's the time to find the Moon Knight stuff.
Moon Knight Casherini.
Yeah. And it's also the only superhero that has an awesome first name, which is spelled correctly. So
Mark.
Yes, Mark Spector.
Mark Spector. I am a couple issues behind the new Moon Knight series that's happening right now. I've been behind because I had to focus on reading something else for another show. But now I'm jumping back in. I'm almost so close. I'm one graphic novel away finishing Y the Last Man, which, sad news, season 2 ain't happened.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
Highly disappointed.
Yeah.
Highly. But the graphic novel is fantastic.
Thanks, FX.
I know. I have one more graphic novel to read. And if you love that show, if you were a fan of that show, highly recommend. Just go get the graphic novels.
Yeah.
You'll absolutely adore this series. It is top notch, top tier graphic novel reading.
Yeah.
So before we jump Moon Knight, let's put a pin in that conversation because I'm going to watch that trailer for the first time today. I'm very excited.
Live here on the show.
Yeah. We got some news. Well, before we get to news, real quickly, our weeks. I'll start off real quick. I don't have a whole lot. Last week, we recorded at the end of the show. You mentioned the Grandma Mafia. My grandmother passed away last week. Didn't really want to. I had a hard time really like coming to terms with it at the time, so I didn't know what to say nor how to bring it up. Her funeral was on Friday. I do appreciate everybody who reached out to me privately and publicly.
Yes.
Which was very nice. Thank you all. When I grew up with my grandma, I was close to her. I lived in her house until I was 5 years old. I was like the fifth child. She had 4 children of her own, but her first grandchild was this guy. And I lived there until my parents moved in together when I was about 5 years old. So I was very close to her, obviously. But it was a great, it was a celebration of life in a way, in a weird way in this pandemic. Had family members that potentially came from households that had COVID. I tested myself. I'm good. Made me a little nervous because we all went to Figaro's, which is weird. I only go to Figaro's when there's an event.
Yeah, that's the only time anyone goes to Figaro's. It's like if you do like a family event in town, you go to Figaro's.
Your wedding.
That was like the second option. Like we didn't plan on going there because I didn't want to, because that's the trope is if you're at Enfield and you have a family event going on, you end up at Figaro's. And I was like, we're not doing that. I'm not going to Figaro's, but then no one else would do it. So I was like, I guess
Francia's, his rehearsal dinner was there. Your rehearsal dinner was there. Then your 40th birthday dinner was there. Yes,
that was my wife's doing, not mine. I had no idea what was going on.
It's not a bad thing.
No, I know.
I'm just saying the only time I go there.
It's like the only time I go to Figaro's is for family events. That's how I was like, trying. So that was her shtick with it, is that she was like, oh, I know you like always joke about that, so that's why we did it there. So that's why she did it there. But
it was
it's weird. A great restaurant. It's just an Enfield trope.
Yeah, that's but all. It was weird because it was the first restaurant I actually ate in since this pandemic.
Wow.
If I've gone to a restaurant, it's been outside in the summertime, or I get to go. So it was a little nerve-wracking a little bit, but anyway. So I finished MacGruber. I don't know if I talked about it. MacGruber was hilarious. Highly recommend it if you like that sense of humor. Very sexual, very out there. Will Forte will be hosting SNL this weekend. Now, the reason I mentioned that is now, once he hosts SNL, every cast member from season 32 have now hosted.
Wow.
And now if you go back, that is one of the best casts in SNL history. You watch that opening and you're like, big star, big star, big star, big star, big star. Like literally there is not one person in that opening cast that is not or has been on television with their own project. It is an awesome cast, but Will Forte, I'm very excited for him to come back to SNL. Highly recommend MacGruber on Peacock. I watched Jim Gaffigan's stand-up. I needed some laughs in my life. Jim Gaffigan's new stand-up is hilarious. I know you mentioned it, Mark, a couple weeks ago. Highly recommend it. I laughed my ass off. And then this is it's a 3-part docuseries called Bumping Mics, and it's Jeff Ross and oh my God, I always forget what's his name. Hold on. It's Jeff Ross. Huh?
Which one are we talking?
Let's see. Bumping Mics. It's Jeff Ross and Dave Attell. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
It's a 3-part docuseries, a comedy series. They did the Comedy Cellar Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and they recorded it. And they had a lot of celebrity guests. And it's hilarious because they like to rag on each other and people in the audience. Really cool special guests. But the one special guest that was just like an odd coincidence was Bob Saget. So on the second episode, Bob Saget comes up and it's really funny. And we were both like, me and Allison were like, oh my God, Bob Saget. It's so sad to see him, but it's so great to see him.
Yeah.
it was filmed in 2018, so there's some humor that's a little dated, but also you're kind of like, oh man, I miss pre-COVID times.
Yeah,
I miss pre-COVID times. Highly recommend that. It's called Bumping Mics. Every time they make it a great joke, they bump their mic together. That's their big shtick.
That's why it's called that, I guess.
Bumping Mics. And then I did finally watch both parts of South Park on Paramount Plus. I caved and got Paramount Plus for the year. I paid $50 and I got it for the year because I wanted to
just do the monthly, so I can just get rid of it when I'm done watching the things I want to watch.
Well, there's going to be a plethora of South Park movies coming out, which my main reason I want it.
And the Halo show.
The Halo show, I saw the teaser. I got to see more than just that teaser because it could be cheesy, but I hope it's good. And then.
And you want to watch a Yellowstone, so.
I don't want to watch Yellowstone. I don't even know what that is.
Woman that loves Kevin Costner.
People love that show, but I have.
Matt Ryan loves that show.
Well, good. My grandfather, my brother.
Can't stop talking about it.
Yeah.
Tries to get me to watch it all the time. He's like, you got to watch Yellowstone. I'm like, no.
It could be good. It could be good.
My mom likes it. I'm not watching it. My mom loves that show.
Yeah. But the MTV selection has a lot of older stuff that I kind of love, like has Clone High and Eon Flux and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'll watch that stuff. So I got to I got my $50 worth for the year.
Yeah.
I mean, I just did it. I was just like, you know what? I think out of all the streaming services, Paramount Plus, their navigation system
their GUI is the worst. And they have the worst. They have the worst
player blows.
Player thing. It's the worst.
It is bad. I hope it gets better. I have to imagine with all the money they have, they got to make it better.
It's right up there with Peacock as the worst, like, user interface.
See, Peacock, I have no problem.
Pause Peacock. You can't even pause it.
I can pause it.
You have to like pay extra to pause.
No.
You know that? Yes.
No, you don't.
It's also you can't like the thing I have with Peacock.
What are you using to pause? What are you watching it on?
On the Amazon.
Because I pause it all the time.
Well, maybe it's just a weird thing I've got going on with mine. But anyways, the one thing I dislike about the Peacock is if it's a live event, you can't start from the beginning of it. You can only start where it is in the live event.
Okay.
That's ridiculous. It's 2022. If I want to start watching a soccer game, like if I missed the beginning of the soccer game or whatever event that they're airing, like WrestleMania or any wrestling show that they have on there, since they're the WWE network thing now.
Yeah.
If you don't make it when that, like, if you forget, like, oh man, I thought it started at 8, but it started at 7. I can't start at 7 o'clock time. I have to, wherever that you jump in is where you jump in.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So we watch Dateline on there and I pause all the time.
But see, that's recorded though.
You're talking
you can't pause live television.
I don't watch live television on there.
Yeah,
so.
You can't do that with live stuff. You can't pause.
See, that doesn't affect me, but that does.
Well, if I'm like watching a game or a wrestling event, and I want to go to the bathroom, but I don't want to miss anything, I should be able to pause it, go do what I need to do, come back, and pick up where I left off, not lose that time. That's the advantage of watching it on a streaming service.
Right. Totally.
That's like the most annoying thing. And that's like everybody's like thing online is that's their main issue with Peacock is that you can't pause and you can't jump in at any time.
Or you can't
really just like live television.
You can't go to start a beginning of a live event.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question for you.
And it takes like a whole day for it to load into the queue. So even if you like wanted to like restart it after it ends,
you
have to wait like a full like 12 hours or so before you even can get to it as a recorded piece to watch it again.
That's what I was going to ask. That's weird.
Yeah, it's the stupidest thing ever.
You should write a complaint to them and hopefully
they have plenty. Trust me, that's a whole thing online about it. There's a whole like huge thing about it.
Huh? I didn't know. I don't watch anything live on there, so.
Right, it's like that's like, and they're really promoting or trying to promote like moving a lot of stuff there because they closed down NBCSN at the end of last year.
Yeah.
Which is why they lost hockey, and now it's on TNT and ESPN. So a lot of sports are moving there. Like even like a lot of racing and a lot of the different sports, the Olympics are going to be, a lot of them are going to be on Peacock and not on even regular channels. So that's like a lot of things people are complaining about. It's like, well, if I wanted to watch like a US hockey game after it starts, I'm not gonna be able to watch it because it's gonna, albeit it's gonna be in China, so you're not gonna see it on regular time anyways. But
yeah.
So it's like a lot of stuff that people complain about with the Peacock.
Well, maybe they'll fix it. I mean, I think,
it's like one of those hashtag first world problems, but still, it's just annoying.
Oh man. All right, Mark, do you have anything before I jump into the news?
Yes, I started watching with Claire on Saturday because we were off Saturday. Sorry, I just thought of something I had to write down for work. So we were just cruising around the old interwebs, as I call it, looking for something to watch on Saturday. And I was on Hulu, and I'm like, oh, let's see what's on the Hulu. I haven't watched it. We haven't like just sat and watched the whole series just through and forever. And we came across Dark Side of the 90s.
Yes.
I know you talked about way back when.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Brian talked about us on the podcast, said it was pretty good.
It's good.
Let's watch it. It is really good, but also really depressing at the same time.
I know. We didn't finish it all. We watched.
No, we've gotten about 4 or 5 in. And I'm like, we gotta like stop. I can't. This is like, I'm gonna end up on dark side of something if I keep watching these.
The Viper Room was good.
Yes, that was the last
episode was good.
Yeah.
The Jerry Springer, that kind of stuff was good. There's a few we haven't watched yet, but yeah, it's a great docuseries.
Yeah, it was funny too because we watched that first episode where it's all about the talk shows.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was telling Claire because I thought I had told her this before, maybe I had, and she had forgotten about it. But I told her about the Jeremy Hutzel experience with those shows.
Oh yeah.
And then I said, I've even gone and like been in the audience for a couple of them from work. Like one time we were in this audience for Sally Jesse for an episode. It was like one of the boot camp, like before they send the boot camp episodes. And I was like, yeah, it like, we were like in the back row, but and I said to him, like, it looks like the crowd is really like amped. But I said, that's all like orchestrated. Like they have people planted in the audience that work for them, work for the show, and they amp up the crowd to like make reactions. She was like, oh my gosh, like I used to love watching those shows, and it's like crazy to see like all this stuff that like they did and what was going on with that.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was a whole business model for a while.
Well, it's also amazing that Jerry Springer is still on television.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, and he's still doing the same
right
shit.
in your backyard.
Huh?
It's filmed in Connecticut.
What, Jerry Springer?
Yeah, it's in Stamford.
Oh, I thought it was a New York show.
No, they film it. They film that, and they film it in a lot of things in Stamford now. But yeah, Jerry Springer's one of the shows they filmed down in Stamford.
That story is very fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Because like the people
I talked to Claire about that because they were talking about the whole Chicago thing where they like the town councilor was trying to get him to kicked out of the whole thing and all that. And I said that actually ended up happening. Like after a couple years after this whole story, they actually ended up being able to get him out of there and like kicked him out of Chicago basically. And when NBC built their whole campus in Stamford, because it's NBC owned show still, it's owned by Universal, whatever the company is, they moved like all that stuff to Stamford, Connecticut. Like that's where NBCSN was. They filmed like Deal or No Deal when it went syndicated was filmed there. Like all their like syndicated like game shows and things, like they have like a whole studio down in Stamford and they film everything down there.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, like a lot of shows that you don't like think about are down in Connecticut. They're all filmed in Connecticut and Stamford. It's crazy.
The more you know.
Yeah.
I had no idea. That's pretty cool.
You can go be an audience member. Like I get it all the time. I used to get things from them after we went to the Sally Jesse show. We used to get a lot of invites to go down to Stamford and be audience members for Jerry Springer.
So Sally Jesse Raphael, for people who don't know, our friend Jeremy Hutzel, who has Tourette syndrome. In high school, he had it really bad. Obviously, he has it still. It's a lifetime thing, but some people goes away, but his is still there, but it's not as aggressive. And in high school, he was actually on a Sally Jesse Raphael episode about how he had no friends. But the funny thing is, he had friends.
You're one of his friends. You're one of his longest friends ever.
Here's the sticking point about this episode, right? A girl in our high school who was not even part of our group.
Yeah.
Okay? I kind of remember her name. I'm not going to say it just in case.
Yeah.
She wrote a paper about Jeremy.
Yeah.
And then somehow got submitted to Sally. And they were both invited to be on the show.
Yeah.
The kicker of the whole problem was it was like a pity party for someone who should not be pitied.
Should not be pitied, just didn't need to be pitied.
Yes.
That's what you mean.
Yes.
It's like, yeah.
They literally put him in a hallway, in an alleyway, and they have him kicking.
I told Claire about that. They had him like kicking a can down
in black and white with a voiceover.
Yeah.
And he's like, nobody talks to me. Well, I'm like,
I don't have any friends.
Me, Eric, a whole bunch of us, we were all tight knit. And we actually became friends with Jeremy because he was being picked on.
Yeah.
And teachers didn't know how to deal with him. And the moment he acted and had an episode, they would send him to the office. They didn't know how to handle him.
Yeah.
Now this is in the 90s. So it's much different now.
Yeah.
But we actually went to his house, a group of us, like 6 or 7 of us. We cooked dinner. We all had a big dinner. This is before Sally.
Yeah.
And that's when our friendship bloomed. But then he went at Sally because of this girl. This girl was not friends with any of us. I don't know where she came from. Anyway, he goes on.
Did you go to school there?
She did.
Okay.
They do the show, and then Sally announces she's retiring. So that whole last couple months, they were bringing back people, and they brought back Jeremy as a follow-up. How's his life been?
Finally find friends.
And he finally found friends, which he's had the whole time. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. It was very weird.
Like dress him with like some outfit or something too. That is something Hudson would never wear ever.
Well, he had to dress up. He couldn't look like a schlub like he normally does.
Yeah. Couldn't wear like a size quad Twinity X t-shirt.
He was overweight back then, Mark.
Yeah.
So he was a bigger person during that time. Now he's a skinny mini, but in high school he was a husky. He was a husky.
But, I mean, even still, I've known Hutzel not as long as you have, but from being friends with you, became friends with Hutzel. And I will admit to you, Hutzel probably wears t-shirts that would look huge on me.
He's still wearing double X or XL on, and he is a large or medium.
I would say even bigger than that. Like those shirts, like the one he was wearing last time we hung out, was definitely a shirt that would look big on me.
I mean, he's gotten better, but his shirts are XL or double X. He used to be double X. And the thing is, he's a large. He could fit into a medium.
Oh yeah.
No problem.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like if he took, like he's one of those, like you see those things online, like the TikToks or whatever you kids watch nowadays, of like people who are like wearing like a big shirt, and then like they're like, oh, don't do that or whatever. And then like they take the shirt off and they're all like muscle bound and they got like huge. Hutzel's the opposite. It's not like he's not muscular, but you would think that he was a big guy, and then like he takes the shirt off and there's like nothing there whatsoever. It's just like you can see right past him, basically.
Yeah, he's a slim guy.
Yeah. But
anyway, we're going in a weird direction now.
But no, that's what made me, because then that we would like going back to what I was talking about, we ended up watching the Dark Side of the 90s. So that like started a huge conversation with Claire and I about Hutzel and that whole thing and all that, and telling her that story, and she was like, man, I had like no idea about any of this. Like I had no idea like that's how like those shows were. And I'm like, yeah, it's like I don't talk to you about a lot of stuff, but you watch a lot of these shows and like I can see it as they're producing it, the way that their producers doing it, like what there's like 90% of the stuff that's on there is like fabricated or blown more out of proportion than it probably was.
Always.
It's
It's for the outrage.
like the date lines that you're talking about are the worst offenders. Like those date lines, I watch those and I'm like, oh my gosh.
What, Dateline?
Yeah.
Why? They're just giving you the
I would guarantee you 75% of the people that they interview on those Dateline shows are like probably like you're saying that girl that wrote that letter on Sally Jesse Raphael probably have as that much connection to the person that they're talking about.
They're family. You watch a Dateline, it's like family members. It's
Yeah, but I don't.
What are you talking about?
They're like you were talking about at your grandma's funeral, like those family members that you haven't seen in forever. It's like those people are the ones that they end up interviewing, and then they talk to them about like
I watch
little
Dateline
Susie
all the
that
time.
they know. Like,
they interview
oh yeah,
like
Susie and I were best friends.
or-
Like you haven't talked to Susie in about 30 years.
I don't know.
You're like
I-
trying to act like you know everything about her.
I don't know if I don't think Datelines are that deceit. They always interview the close people, their husbands or their wives or kids, and they're
There's some of
fine.
those on there.
They're not
like,
fake.
there's some people on there, like I've seen some of those, like watching it with Claire, and I even said to her on a couple, I'm like, that person has not hung out with that person. That's the person that's they're interviewing about in forever. It's like you could like, yeah, some of them are pretty bad.
I wouldn't go that far. I want to say Datelines. I mean, there are, if you put on Oxygen, there are those.
Oh god, those are even worse. Like there's even ones that are like 48 hours, like all those ones. Like she watches all of those, so I have to sit through some of them, and it's just like some of these are just like.
I mean, I think Dateline,
doesn't even know that person.
2020. I think those are more reputable. I mean, when you put on Oxygen and they're just cranking them out,
You like to
the
think
titles are weird. I
like to
think
think
those are where you're getting a little iffy. But I wouldn't say I think Dateline's very reputable. I don't think it's I mean, yes, you are watching someone's story about someone dying, which is tragic. But the people they're talking to are always
and just like the whole like
close.
that one guy that does the interviews, everyone saw that Bill Hader used to do the impression of on SNL. Like every time any of his episodes come on and she's watching them, I'm like,
These are the best.
I can't be in the room right now. She's like, why? I'm like, I can't not laugh every time that guy talks.
Oh, I love him. He's my favorite.
So you're saying, and all their questions are like they say the question and just the person repeats back the exact thing that they said. Like,
always.
So you're saying she was murdered. Yeah, she was murdered. So you're saying you needed to ask them the questions. Yes, then we're going to ask him some questions about. It's like
they always do that.
Oh my god,
they always do that.
How does you?
It's to get sound bites. It's to get sound bites.
It's the worst.
All right, let's move on. We can go here forever. I got news, Mark.
Yes.
First of all, I'm going to start off the news because I like to follow what's going on with Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yes.
Spider-Man No Way Home has fallen to the second place over the weekend. Scream. 30. I mean, it wasn't a big amount, but Scream came in number one.
Who's going to see Scream?
I don't know, but I have no interest in it. But people like the Scream, I guess. But on the bigger news, Spider-Man No Way Home is now on the domestic lifetime gross.
Courtney Cox was looking for a paycheck.
Yeah. Spider-Man No Way Home is now number 4 for the top lifetime domestic.
Oh, man.
It beat out Black Panther. It is so close to beating out Avatar. Please beat out Avatar. That's all I want. Worldwide, Spider-Man No Way Home is sitting at number 8. It beat out the Avengers, and it is a sliver away of beating out the Lion King and potentially Jurassic World.
Wow.
Yes.
So when it hit 5, did it officially give Disney the top 5
for worldwide or domestic?
Yeah.
Domestic. Here we go. Star Wars: Force Awakens, Disney. Avengers: Endgame, Disney. Avatar is now
Disney.
And Spider-Man No Way Home, Disney. Black Panther, Disney. Avengers: Infinity War, Disney. Titanic which was 20th Century Fox, is now Disney.
Yeah, but they didn't get the money from it.
Now they are.
Yeah. Like Avatar wasn't a Disney property at the time.
But now it is.
But they didn't make that money, I'm saying. So technically,
now they are making that money. So it doesn't even matter. All that money is theirs now. So it doesn't even matter. Jurassic World is the first non-Disney property at number 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. And then it goes back to Disney with the Avengers in The Last Jedi, rounding out the top 10. Dude, and you it's almost all Disney, and there's a sprinkle of different movies that are not Disney related. It's crazy. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So that is Spider-Man news. I have big news that just happened today, Mark. This is big news in the video game world. Xbox has announced a deal to buy Activision Blizzard.
Jeez, about time.
For $68.7 billion.
Billion?
Dude.
Has this been in the works forever, though?
No.
I could have sworn that we talked about this before.
We've never talked about this before.
Or then there's someone wanting to buy Activision and Blizzard. I could have sworn we've talked about this. Like
I don't know. I don't remember it. But anyway.
That's World of Warcraft, right?
So here, hold on.
I'm saying that's who makes World of Warcraft, Blizzard?
Yes. So basically this means Call of Duty, Warcraft, Overwatch, Diablo, Tony Hawk Pro Skater would be going under the Microsoft banner.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater, wow.
So
it's a blast from the past.
So basically they're saying if a lot of these games would go under probably Game Pass, when this deal wouldn't go through until June of next year. They still have to go through a board because they have to show that this is not a monopoly.
Yes.
But the way Microsoft is buying out places, who the hell knows?
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
Spyro.
So I could see some of these games being Microsoft exclusive, or when it comes to Call of Duty, they would probably give Xbox like on DLC. Xbox would probably get it first, because basically Call of Duty actually makes more money on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I don't really see Call of Duty not being on both consoles, because you still want to make money. Because that's what it all comes down to. But I could still see a lot of these things.
You know what this does mean for you, Brian?
Huh?
You know what this does mean for you, which I know you don't know if you know this. The Spider-Man games are Activision games.
No, they're not.
The original ones.
Yeah, but those suck.
No. Spider-Man 2? The original Spider-Man 2 was like one of the best video games ever.
Not in comparison to the current Spider-Man game.
I haven't played those, so I don't know what you're talking about.
The new Spider-Man games are made by Sony.
I'm not going to buy another system just for one video game.
And they're fucking fantastic. But
I will tell you, the first time I ever heard Activision, and I assumed this was just part of the name of the game at the time when I was younger, Pitfall. I thought it was Activision Pitfall. I thought that was the name of the game for like a good 3 years.
That's funny. But Spider-Man 2 is locked behind old tech anyway. I mean, I have it for my PlayStation 2. It is a fantastic game. I tried to replay it. It's a hard game to go back to.
Yeah.
But
swing around New York and collect all those newspapers.
Yeah, but the new Spider-Man games are like unbelievable. And then we got Spider-Man 2 coming out.
Play them, so don't care.
And the Wolverine game is going to be fantastic as well.
Well, I'm not buying a PS5 just to play video games on.
I'm not telling you to. I never said to. You could do whatever you want. You're a big boy. Anyway,
I still haven't even started Halo yet. So.
All right. So not that long ago, Take-Two bought Zynga for $12.7 billion. Now that was considered one of the biggest gaming acquisitions in history for that much money, but it has now been dwarfed by $68.7 billion. That is crazy. That is that's more than Disney paid for Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Like it's a massive
Just
amount of money.
the thing of getting Call of Duty alone is like a major get.
Yeah, for people who play Call of Duty.
I mean, all the microtransactions alone will pay for it. So
yeah,
between that and Blizzard, you don't have to worry about anything.
Speaking of microtransactions, so I'm slowly playing that Avengers game. I enjoy the story. The combat after a while is just boring. I mean, you're just blowing shit up. Like it's like mindless. Like it's nothing really like compelling.
Mm.
But what I absolutely hate about that game is the currencies that it has to create to unlock certain things. It's like 3 currencies to do 3 different. I'm like, I don't care, but it's so annoying because I would like all these costumes are so cool, but I have to unlock them so slowly, and I'm not going to pay money for them.
Yeah.
That's why
all the side quests that you don't really need to do.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Overall, it's mediocre. It's a mediocre game. Like if I compare it to the Spider-Man games, the new ones, that's the way to do it. There's no microtransactions. You unlock new costumes. The costumes are fantastic. You can play them. They all have different new abilities. Avengers is just like, give me money.
Yes.
Because you want a costume. And I'm like, I ain't giving you shit.
Yeah.
I like the story. The graphics are really good on my PS5. I mean, some of the stuff looks really sharp, and like I'm kind of blown away about some of the detail. But other than that, the
story's not terrible.
Yeah, I like the story. Yeah. That's what's keeping me going. Yeah. Because if it wasn't for the story, I would have just stopped this game long ago.
Yeah. It's definitely not. The multiplayer I heard is even worse. So
yeah, it is. Just kind of like once you're just in that round and you're just beating, it's same type of beat 'em up every time.
Yeah,
it gets really repetitive and kind of like I'm only doing it to see the next cutscene.
Yeah,
I'm not doing this because it's fun.
Yeah,
sometimes it's fun. Sometimes I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I can't describe it, but it's not the Guardians of the Galaxy. You want to play a good ass Marvel game, Guardians of the fucking Galaxy. Play it. It's amazing. And no microtransactions. And the costumes are awesome. So that is the big news right there. Xbox with Activision. And then on top of that, the Moon Knight trailer released, which I think we should get ready, Mark. I'm gonna watch it.
Okay.
So like you said, it is gonna be dropping on March 30th of this year.
Which is way later than we all thought was going to happen.
Right.
So you don't know what's going to be. We're going to have a lot of downtime here for a little bit.
Why? March is not that far away. What are you talking about?
Book of Boba Fett is over in 3 weeks.
It takes until February.
Yeah. So you have a whole month of no.
That's like nice. Get a nice little break. Basically. Get a nice little break. All right. I'm going to watch it. You can cut this out, Mark, if you like, but here we go. Man, that looks good.
Right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I have no idea who Ethan Hawke is playing. And I know a lot of, like, I know more than most I know about Moon Knight. And I'm like, I don't know that character. Like, he doesn't pop out at like any character that I know. And
so here, I read something on the Marvel's Entertainment page reveals he'll become Haro, a character who only appeared in one comic, Moonlight Volume 2, Issue 2. He was a mad scientist who was working on stopping pain in the human body by using human subjects.
Oh, okay.
There you go. That looks awesome though. And Oscar Isaac, he's such a great actor.
Oh my gosh. And the fact that they're like delving, like, it seems like they're going to go straight into like him already. Like, I'm liking the new Marvel thing of not going into a deep origin story for the person.
Well, this is going to be an origin story.
But I mean, like, you don't get it's not going to be like you're already going to go in and you're already in the story. It's not like you have to go through like, how do you get this thing? How did it come about? Like the way they're telling the story, it looks like it's it's a part of the story of Moon Knight where it's already like you're already issues in to the comic. Basically, he's already has the personality disorder, and he's already gotten the Moon Knight on him already. Like he's already Moon Knight, doesn't know it because it's a different personality that doesn't know what's going on. So it's gonna be a different Disney Plus show for sure. It's not gonna be the Disney Plus shows we're used to. And this is also gonna be the first Disney Plus show of a character, like a debut character. Like all the other Disney Plus shows have been like established characters that we know that the story is focused around. Like this is the first debut of a character since Shang-Chi, basically.
I'm trying to think, Falcon.
But he was established in other movies.
That's true.
Like all these characters have already been like, we've seen them in other things. Like Loki was in Thor, Hawkeye was in Avengers.
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch was in Avengers.
Right.
Falcon, Winter Soldier, Captain America. So like all these characters have been attached to other people.
Well, Hawkeye, I mean, we got what's her name?
Kate Bishop.
But
I'm saying, but the main characters of the stories have all been.
You're right.
Like,
you're right.
The other stories have all been connected to other things. This one looks like it's going to be complete separate from everything that we don't know anyone in this, basically.
Totally agree.
Which will make it interesting.
Totally. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right there. It looks really good. I like the darkness of it. Is March 20th a Wednesday now?
March 30th.
I thought it was March 20th.
30th is a Wednesday, yes.
Oh, March, you're right. Sorry. So
yeah, March 30th is a Wednesday.
All right. Well,
you'll watch on the Friday, like you always do.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's talk about Peacemaker first.
Okay.
I absolutely love this show. Normally I'm not like this, but the fact they dropped 3 episodes, I was just like, why didn't they drop them all? Because I could have watched them all this weekend.
It definitely made sense to drop 3 of them, or at least more than one, because the first episode isn't very good on its own.
Really? I loved it.
Well, if it had come out by itself and you had to wait for the second one, I don't think I would have been as into it.
The first episode got me hooked, and I
have to say, I'm surprisingly going to say this. I agree with Rocky's assessment of this show.
I don't know.
I am not superly overly thrilled with it. I think that they've like dumbed the character down from the Suicide Squad movie. Like I think, like Rocky was saying, in the Suicide Squad movie, the character was more serious, not as stupid.
I disagree. And here's why I disagree with that, because we didn't see a lot of him in Suicide Squad.
He was one of the main parts of the Suicide Squad movie.
If we all remember, go back to that movie, there's a scene where they all go drinking and he's like, line them up. And he is an asshole and he shows off. And those are all character traits in this. But now you have to, first of all, have him warm up to the audience, which I think John Cena is, in my opinion, the GOAT. Fuck The Rock. I think John Cena is 100% miles beyond The Rock.
Yeah, way more better at the comedy stuff.
Oh, my God. I think John Cena, he would make me watch wrestling just to watch John Cena. I give 2 shits about wrestling, but John Cena just has it. He has it, and he's really good at it. But this is why I disagree. He has to, the first conversation he has is with that janitor. And basically that sets up the whole show, because he sees himself as a hero, but everybody else doesn't. And that's the conflict. And there's a part in episode 3 or 2 because I watched him back to back. I don't know which.
Yeah.
Where he finally has a moment and he starts crying because he realizes he's a joke.
Episode 2.
People don't see him the way he sees himself.
Then you get Vigilante, which is another terrible character, but whatever.
Yeah, but they're awesome. These I love the
It's
absurdity.
like it's almost like this show got like. I'm still gonna keep watching it. I like it, but it's just like it's. I don't know. I don't know if it's the James Gunn part of it. I don't know. It seems like it's too tropey. Like everyone's terrible. We get it. Everyone in this little group.
Not really. Are you
like
watching
a
the
bad
same
person.
show?
I don't know. I just don't like. I'm not into it. It's just like there's some parts of it I'm just like.
You have
the new person that's like spoilers, Waller's daughter or niece or whatever it is.
She's not a terrible person. She's a good person.
But it's just like the whole thing of her being the new person on the team and she doesn't know like what's going on, and like she's the stuff with the I don't know. It's just that I don't know what it is. It's like there's like I like the show. I'll watch it, but it's almost like it's too
I
like
love it.
over the top at this point. It's like I watched like the third episode.
Third episode was fantastic.
Like with the whole shooting of the kids, and Peacemaker won't shoot the kids, even though he said that in the Suicide Squad movie.
Because he's struggling with it. The whole conflict is they laid it out for us. He is struggling with the fact that he realizes, oh shit, maybe killing people like this is not a good idea, because everybody sees me as a joke. People are not taking me seriously because I'm willing to kill anybody. That's the whole point of it. And then when he sees them and he's just like, oh fuck, like I don't know if I want to kill children. And then his partner comes in and he just does it.
And he's like, I don't know. And I just don't.
Oh, I
definitely feel like I need more of the show. Like you're saying, I was like thinking as the third episode ended, I'm like, I wish there was more episodes to watch. Cause I just don't, I don't know. I don't have like a fully formed opinion of it still, which is weird because I watched 3 episodes of it. And usually by then you kind of have an idea of what your thoughts are. I don't know if that's just how they like shot it too. Like it might just be the way the show is, but I don't know.
Or just like, you. It's just how you were perceiving it, Mark.
I don't know.
It's fine.
I think because I have watched wrestling, I know the John Cena character, like his like shtick, kind of. And I think I'm kind of just like, I don't know. I'm kind of over it.
I don't know. I'm 100% different. I'm loving it. It is probably my favorite show right now. I'm looking forward to that show more than Book of Boba Fett. I hate to say it. Book of Boba Fett, that last episode was just okay. The show, like, the first 2 episodes were really great. Episode 3 for me was just kind of like, where are we going? What are we doing?
It's a bridge episode. It's to get you from here's how the story starts, and now here's where the story is going to go to. It's like that was the episode to set up all the stuff that's going to happen in 4, 5, 6.
But it wasn't. I didn't really care for the biker
the zip chase was way too long.
You want to talk about tropey? I thought the biker gang chase was very tropey. Like they each had a thing to do to take him down.
Robert Rodriguez, though. That's I think it was just because he's the running of the show, basically. He's the director of everything of the show. And I just think it's
very Spy Kids.
Yeah.
It's very Spy Kids.
Very Spy Kids. That's why I was like, oh my gosh, this is so Robert Rodriguez. And like the whole thing of like shoehorning Danny Trejo into the show.
But he didn't write it. Jon Favreau wrote it.
Well, Filoni and Favreau wrote it, yeah. But it definitely has like the Robert Rodriguez feel of a lot of things.
Well, yes. Spy Kids feel.
Yeah. So I was like, oh boy.
Well, let's just go into Book of Boba Fett episode 3. I mean, there are some good moments. I did enjoy
Rancor.
The Rancor thing was interesting. I kind of like
setting up, and it's been rumored for a long time now, that there's a scene in this show where Boba Fett is running a Rancor through a city,
Mark,
through a town.
he says, I want to ride it.
So
we know it's going to happen.
The fact that they've like established that like rumor, and now it like pretty much confirmed it's going to happen. I don't care what happens in the rest of the show. If I'm going to get to see Boba Fett riding a Rancor through a town center, I'm fine. If the show's kind of lackluster, I'll be fine with the rest of anything else that happens. But if it's heading in the direction I think it's heading, with the Pikes, and we're heading in that crime syndicate vein, I'm in. I don't care. I think we're expecting more of this show than it's going to give us. It's not Mandalorian.
Well, here's my take. My take is keep the helmet on, be badass. It hasn't happened a lot. I want to see, how come he doesn't use his jetpack? Use the jetpack.
He used it in this episode.
When?
He landed on right next to the bike thing, next to the speeder.
Yes, but he could use it and be using his gadgets. He barely does it.
Well, because he hasn't gotten to a big fight yet. He was going to use him in the fight with Black Kirsten, but didn't, because he got thrown around. Because he reached for the need rockets.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that biker gang though. It's still weird.
It's just
they feel out of place.
They're just cannon fodder, is what they are.
No, they're going to be part. They're going to help. Obviously, they're going to help him at the end.
I know, but they're going to be like his like army. Like we're talking about, like him using the Tusken Raiders, which obviously aren't going to happen now since they all got obliterated by that other.
I was disappointed by that. Were you? I was kind of sad.
I think it moves his story along. I think that was the whole point of that.
Yeah, I know.
So,
but I was sad.
I think that's going to give us to the whole thing with the Pikes story is the fact that he was talking with them at that episode, but they said you have to take care of this other group before we can give it to you. That I think that's that part where he does that and tries to and fails because he does it by himself now. That it now like comes back around, like something happened in his past and what is setting up this thing with the Pikes and everything, and that's what's going to come back around.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I think it's just that the storytelling is different than Mandalorian with the flashbacks and all this stuff. So I think that's what a lot of like people are having issues with. But I think it's good that we're like, it's the book of Boba Fett. So it's basically telling the story of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
From when we saw him at the end of Return of the Jedi
until now.
To now. Yeah. Also keeping up with the story that was continued from Mandalorian. So right. I think there's gonna be a lot more in these next 3 episodes. They're gonna like, as a whole, they'll make it. This is why I'm not saying the thing with Peacemaker. I'm not gonna judge Peacemaker until I see the whole series, because I'm not gonna judge it off 3 episodes because I hate like that's how we do things now. Is if one episode's bad, I'm not gonna watch that show anymore because one episode was bad.
Well, I'm not gonna. Of course, I enjoy Book of Boba Fett. I'm just saying this one episode for me wasn't my favorite.
Yeah, well, you did say that now you're gonna like watch Peacemaker before you watch Book of Boba Fett. But
actually, I'll probably watch both.
Book of Boba Fett comes out on Wednesday and Peacemaker comes out on Thursday. So if you watched them the right times when they came out, you wouldn't have to worry about it.
I'll watch them both on Friday.
Yeah, because you're an old man and you do everything in one day.
Well, because I'm home.
Wednesday's a bingo night. Don't have time to watch it then.
No,
Thursday's my knitting circle.
So I game more. I'm gaming more than I watch television. So Friday afternoon I will watch both. So that's just how my schedule is for me. But yeah, I mean, Book of Boba Fett, this episode, there's some moments I did like. You mentioned them. The chase scene was just a little Spy Kids-esque for me.
Yeah.
The speeders, they just seemed out of place. Maybe they'll grow on me. Maybe they'll be better next episode.
Well, these were actually supposed to be in Last Jedi.
No, they weren't. I read a whole article. It's a whole thing. It's a George Lucas because of It wasn't supposed to be in Last Jedi.
Yeah.
These speeders were like an homage to George Lucas and American Graffiti and that sort of stuff.
And Vespas.
But I don't feel
Look like space Vespas to me.
They look out of place.
Well,
100% looked out of place.
They're the kids. They're in a souped up.
The funny part is, I was reading on Reddit. People were talking about them. It is a sticking point for a lot of people, and I don't hate them. I want to see where it goes. I just felt like they felt out of place. But some person made a great point. So they're young people who have no jobs, have no money, but they have souped up speeders. Now, where do they get the money, the credits to make souped up speeders?
But they have no jobs. And they were still in the water to sell this water to pay for their speeder bikes.
And why are they paying that? Who's paying money for water? From Stephen Root.
That's Tatooine, man.
It was a weird subplot.
It's Tatooine.
It's a very odd subplot.
Why there's moisture farmers. That's why Uncle Ben and Aunt Beru were moisture farmers.
Well, the planet was filled with water.
Yeah, there's water under the desert. That's what they're bringing the water up to collect it, to sell it to the people in the desert.
Or they're in those little like acorn things.
Yeah.
Which seem to be all over the place.
Yeah.
So yeah, very bizarre. Anyway, I want to see where it goes. It wasn't my favorite, but we have 3 episodes left.
Yeah.
I mean, on a scale 1 to 10, like we do every week, for me, it was an 8. It was an 8 episode.
It wasn't the best episode. Wasn't the worst.
Yeah.
I gave it around an 8 as well.
Yeah. I mean, other than what we talked about, I mean,
the fact that the worst Star Wars episode is probably just is better than 99% of the stuff on any other network.
Right.
I mean, what are we complaining about here?
I know. We're just reviewing it. That's
I know. Just saying.
And Mark, I think that's been a show. Is there anything we're missing here?
I don't think so. I think we covered it all. We got the Moon Knight, which we're going to be excited for. I know I'm really excited for.
Yeah.
Peacemaker. I'm still going to keep giving it a try. Still going to watch it. I don't know how I feel about it still. I'm still not sure 100% if I'm into it, not into it. I don't know. It's weird.
Everyone's different. You don't have to like it.
I know. I'm not saying I don't. It's like I dislike it completely. It's just I don't know. Everyone's
different. I'm loving it. I mean, it's right up my alley. This is so everyone's different. Like I said, I joined Apple Plus to watch Ted Lasso, and I was like, Ted Lasso, you're boring as shit. I'm out. But I found something else I loved. Everyone's different. Right now, I think it's crazy. We live in a society.
You don't say.
But we have so many streaming services and so many options that there is literally something for someone.
You can't find something for yourself to watch. You're not trying hard enough.
Yeah. And it takes a lot now for something to click with society. I mean, we had Squid Games, which clicked and became a bigger hit.
Yeah.
A lot of people were talking about it. Right now, Yellow Jackets on Showtime seems to be very popular. A lot of people are saying how good that is as well.
I heard big things about that.
I do want to check it out. I don't have Showtime. But I mean, it does take a lot.
I think it's on the Hulu as well.
You still got to subscribe to Showtime though.
Oh, do you? Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I looked it up. Because I was like, oh, Yellow Jackets, I'll check it out. So you have to add your Showtime to it. If you get a discount, I think if you do it.
Gotcha.
But anyway, it does take for something
if you
big
want, you could just do like you did for Twin Peaks.
Yeah, because the first season ended, so I could just subscribe to Showtime for a month, watch it, and then unsubscribe.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's literally something for everybody. And sometimes you watch something like you said, sometimes you gotta see the whole picture before you make a judgment. And sometimes you might not get into it but then years down the road, you'll start watching it, and then you go, "Wow, that was pretty good."
Yeah.
I mean, I want to give Ted Lasso another try later on, but I just didn't laugh, nor did I find it interesting. But maybe I would later on.
Yeah.
So I still have Apple TV. I finished Mythic Quest, and I haven't gone back.
Right? How great was that second season?
Yes, it was phenomenal. Like the ending, I'm like, where are they going to go? What are they going to do? Everyone's disbanded, but they're on for season 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I love that show. Yeah. So now it's just like, oh, I got to watch something on there.
Yeah.
Is Morning Show any good? I don't even know.
I heard the first season was. The second season, it got too into its own headlines, and it like got really bad.
Yeah. So
but I don't know. I haven't watched. I don't know what else to watch on there. Like there's all the Tom Hanks movies you can watch. There's like 3 Tom Hanks movies on there that I plan to watch. I just haven't got around to.
I know. Finch looks good.
Finch, The News of the World, and that submarine one.
Yeah.
They're all on there.
I got to watch C. You said C was good.
C is really good. C, I would suggest if you're going to looking for something else to watch, that's what I would head towards.
Yeah, I got to check that out.
Yeah.
But there's so much content just coming out.
Yeah. It's very, like, it's very is in the Conan Barbarian vibe. I keep trying to get Matt Ryan to watch it because I know how much he liked him as Conan Barbarian. So,
yeah. Speaking of another great wrestler who became an actor on, what's his face? He was in season 2 of C. I can't think of his name.
Dave Bautista.
I was going to call him John for some reason. Dave Bautista. He's another great actor.
But he's very, with him though, it depends upon, he's very dependent on good people around him.
But he pulls off comedy, he pulls off seriousness.
Yeah, but he's good if the other people in the project are able to, I don't want to say carry him, but bring him along, as we saw with Army of Thieves, him being the lead.
Well, so that was just poorly written.
I don't know. No. The couple of things he's done by himself aren't that great.
He was great in Blade Runner. He was great in Guardians.
Yes, they had a lot of good people around him though.
But also
to bring that along.
The writing was good, and the directors were good.
Yes.
I mean, everybody can make a bad movie because the writing is bad and it's a bad.
Oh yeah.
And that movie just sucked.
Yeah, like John Cena made that kid firefighter movie with Keenan or whatever his name from Key and Peele. So
what happened?
There's a really bad John Cena movie where he plays a firefighter.
Oh, it's a kids movie.
Yeah, the kids movie. Yeah, it's really bad.
I'm not going to watch it. It's like watching the Rock's Tooth Fairy. Why am I going to watch it?
Tooth Fairy was good though. He was good.
It's a kids movie.
Yeah, but he was good though. But
anyway, Mark, we should wrap it up.
Yes.
Subscribe and
subscribe. And you said we're now on Spotify.
Yeah, we were on Spotify. I had to take us off everything at one point because that copyright thing of that Ariana Grande song.
Oh my gosh, that stupid Ariana Grande. Well, just eliminate that episode.
It is gone. We are the last 100 episodes, currently are on Spotify now, which is great. Yeah. We're on iTunes. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube.
Yes.
Facebook seems to be the place we get a lot of more traffic.
Yeah.
Which is great.
So thank you all for that.
Yes.
But if you'd like to just listen to us and not see us in person, you can do that through the iTunes or Podbean or Spotify. So
you got it.
Check all those things out. Like, subscribe to our Facebook channel. Talk to us if there's things you want us to talk about. If there's a show that we're not talking about that you think we should be talking about and we should get into, tell us about it. Unless it's Wheel of Time, because I'm not going to sit through that show. There's too much stuff I got to learn. I'm not going to learn all that stuff. So don't suggest that. But anything else,
Are
we'll
people
probably check out.
people suggest? I haven't heard anybody talk about that show other than you, and you don't even watch it.
No. I've heard of like online. It got a lot of play when it first came out. But
I have
that's
no
about
interest. Yeah.
But
no interest
yeah.
at all.
But yeah,
all
so all that and more. We'll see you all next week. Everyone be good, be safe, fare thee well.